Welcome to the Our Frugal Debt Free Journey podcast. We're Joel and Chrissy from the Long Run with Joel and Chrissy, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And today we want to be talking about some things that we can no longer afford or that we've been priced out of. This is kind of a topic that a lot of people have been kind of latching on to here lately because inflation,
Mm-hmm.
obviously.
Yes.
Things have gone up in the last few years. And I don't want to be that kind of person that says, I remember where a sticker bar was 15 cents. I'm not going to do that.
No.
However, there are some things that we used to buy, um, used to could buy, but now we don't because we can't because we've kind of been priced out of that category.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe some of these may be a little bit of a surprise to you. Um, Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe you've been priced out of some of these as well, and so you'll be able to share that with us too.
That's right. We do want to give a little shout out. We did see this video from Sensible Living with Money Mom
Yep.
and from Save Money and More with Jan, both of those channels. I'm sure that there may be other channels out there that have done it, but we
Yeah.
for sure saw those. So we want to give a little shout out to both of those, and we'll make sure that we have their videos linked in the show notes.
Right. We sure will. All right. Well, let's just kind of dive in, and one of these is going to be pretty obvious. I think a lot of people maybe in the same boat as well. But let's go ahead and these are in no particular order. We're going to start with number one, but it's not first on the list. It's only because it's first on the list.
It's actually because we feel like you'll be able to relate with this one so easily that it'll be almost obvious to you. So be sure to stick around because some of those in our later in our list are going to be not so obvious.
That's right.
Okay.
All right. So number one is a house. Now there's no shock there that we kind of feel like we've been, especially in our area, in the area that we live, the median. Um, the median price for a home in this area is $750,000. Um, we bought our first house in 2008, and we bought it. It wasn't here; it was in a different area. We bought it for about $186,000. 3 bedroom, a great room in the basement. It was 3 bedrooms upstairs. There was a basement with 2 other bedrooms in the bottom, in the
Mm-hmm.
basement down there, and then a great room that we never did get a chance to build out. But it was the rooms were all there, and it was only $186,000. And now here, you can't hardly get a house for under 450,000 dollars. Um, in the area in which we live. Most of surrounding Orlando is 300, 400, 500 and above
Mm-hmm.
for the price of a house.
Yes, and that would not count your property taxes,
Right?
property insurance,
Yep.
and your HOA fees,
Yep.
which is almost standard for every single house in the area. It's not impossible to find one without an HOA fee, but those houses usually actually the mortgage is higher. So, like one way or the other, you've got a pretty high expense to actually owning a home in this area.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
We have to go pretty far out to be able to probably afford anything, and even the suburbs now are moving way on out into the different areas here, and
yeah,
so those home prices are going to start skyrocketing as well.
yeah.
Sometimes we joke that we should have bought a house as soon as we got down here in 2020 during COVID. We probably could have gotten one then for a little cheaper than what we can buy one now. But anyway,
You probably shouldn't have said the C word,
yeah,
but
I probably
anyway,
shouldn't have.
you
But
know
anyway,
that.
you know that thing
Yeah.
back in 2020. Anyway, we and so that's the first thing that we feel like we've been priced out of. We've been renting for going on 4 years now since we moved down here, and we don't really see any end in sight um, as far as that goes. So
Right.
so yeah, a house. All right, the next one is going to be a new car or a newish car. If you've seen any of our frugal frugal videos, things that we never buy or things we don't buy anymore.
Or cheap and frugal living
or cheap and
videos.
frugal living. What
Yeah.
does it look like? Is that we say we never buy a new car off the lot, because once you do that, once you drive it off the lot, it depreciates probably $10,000-$20,000 once you drive it off the lot,
Right.
and so you lose a lot of value before you even drive it away, and so and even now buying a new car is pretty expensive. There's some trucks that are, you know, 70, 80, 90, $100,000
Mm-hmm.
just for a pickup truck. And so,
Yeah.
that used to be what I think my mom and dad. I said I wasn't going to do this, but
Here we go.
yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to go there. Anyway, so a
Oh,
new
just go ahead and
ish.
say it. Your mom and
My
dad
mom and
got
dad
it.
bought their first house back in 1978 for less than $100,000.
Yeah.
So it's still the house that she lives in. My mom lives in. So, yeah. So a new-ish car um, was going to cost you anywhere between 25, 30, 35, $40,000 for a car, and then a truck, van, SUV going to be in the 30, 40, 50, 60, even above category.
Mhm.
And unless you're, from what I've heard, we haven't had a car loan since, well, probably 2013, car note since 2013.
Yeah.
But what I'm hearing now is that they're going 7, 8, maybe even 9 years now on your loans for a car, so that people can afford to pay them off. So um, our our thing has always been, at least for the last 10, 11 years, has been to save up for one and then buy what you want.
Mhm.
You don't have to have a brand new car. You can buy a used car, a program car. The rental companies sell their cars after they get probably 15, 20,000 miles on them. They'll sell them,
Mhm.
and you can pick those up um, relatively inexpensively. So
Mhm.
you might want to look into that if you're looking for a car.
Yeah. Now, we will say back in the day when we
It's the third
still
time we've
had
done that.
when we no, but this statement is not the same.
Oh, okay.
Back in the day when we had debt, we would buy a very newish car or a brand new car.
Yep.
We never bought anything that was like used like we have now. It would have been like a program car or something that was like a year or 2 years old
Mm-hmm.
or completely brand new.
Yep.
And the truth is, when we think about it, I'm not sure that we could afford those car notes now.
Yeah.
Like the way that we were before we started our debt free journey, we had two car notes.
Yep.
I don't think that if you did one of the like what car notes are running these days, if we had two of them and was trying to pay rent and all the things, I don't think that we could do it. I
Yeah.
don't think that we have the money to have car notes
Yeah.
anymore.
That'd be tough.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So let's move on to number 3. And we're kind of getting off of the consumer things like houses and cars. Now, kind of get into some other things that maybe you wouldn't necessarily think about. And the third one is steaks. Now, I like a good steak, but if you've been to a restaurant lately, they are kind of pricing you out on those.
Yeah, but even we're talking about
Yeah.
even in the grocery store
Uh-huh.
purchasing
Yep.
steaks, unless it was like a really good manager special, even most manager specials do not bring steaks down to what I can buy chicken for.
Yeah.
And so we just aren't eating a lot of steaks or any like what normally would be considered expensive cuts of beef.
Mhm.
We just don't like about as expensive as we will get as a roast, like a chuck roast.
Yeah.
And then when we do that, we look for it to be like a manager special or a loss leader kind of deal, so that we're not even paying for that full price. It's just the price of steaks and like to get some and say I'm going to cook out. No, we'll do what hamburgers and hot dogs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's just more affordable. And so, yeah, like sometimes when I see the price of steak is like $7 or $8 per pound or something like that, I'm like, no,
No, we can
no,
do
we
something
won't
else.
do that.
Yeah.
And yeah, and he's right. We haven't purchased steak in a restaurant in quite some time either.
Yep.
Um, and so yeah, steak would be one of them. And it's kind of, that we were going to have to get into the food, because that's what our channel is about, is how to save money on groceries. And so yeah, one of them is that one of the ways that we're keeping our grocery budget down is just by not purchasing steaks.
That's right. Number 4, the next one is going to be certain types of seafood. I like seafood.
Oh yeah.
But certain types of it have kind of prices out of the market on those. Now we can find shrimp at a decent price now. We
Uh-huh.
use a lot of shrimp.
Yep.
But as far as other kinds of seafood, we don't eat a lot of it.
Yeah, like have you seen like the price to buy crab legs at a warehouse club like Sam's Club or Costco?
Mm-hmm.
You'll walk out of there spending $100 just on seafood for one meal.
Yep.
Like, no way. So yeah, staying away from the seafood that could really add up just for like one thing, like I'm gonna have a seafood boil. Nope, no crab legs, nothing that's very expensive. It's going to be shrimp. It might be a crawfish deal if you're having just like a crawfish boil. But if we're just having a seafood boil, it's going to be like andouille sausage and shrimp.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be crab legs and like things that really are expensive.
Yeah. The next one is going to be eating all organic, grass-fed, and cage-free foods. We do eat some of that.
Our emphasis is on the word all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not all the meat, not all the eggs, not all the things we eat are organic, grass-fed, or cage-free.
Yeah. And like we pick and choose with our vegetables. We do lean a little toward the Dirty Dozen Clean 15 list, but even some of that, like I'm just choosing to not either buy it or buy it less often and focus more on the ones that it just doesn't matter if they're organic.
Yep.
So, like bananas, you'll see that in our grocery hauls a lot. I buy bananas a lot. I just like them anyway. But because of the outer peel of them, it really doesn't matter if they're organic. So I'm not going to spend the money to buy organic on bananas. So you'll see that more with us, is that if there's certain things that we could buy that doesn't really matter, we'll lean toward those so that we don't have to buy as many organic things. Also, the word organic is not regulated all that well. So some of the things that would be in the boxed section, that's iffy, whether or not it's really organic. So we know that grass-fed and cage-free is good. And we know that, organic is better than non-organic. But if you're in a financial situation where you feel like I can't really afford all the organic stuff, then, Dirty Dozen Clean 15 list, and also learning to make more things at home from scratch instead of depending on boxed things that are already made that just say organic on them might help alleviate a little bit of your budget so that you can afford more of the things that you want to buy that maybe is cage free or grass fed. Like, so if you learn to make some things from scratch that you've never made from scratch, that'll hopefully open up a little bit in your budget to do that. And that's kind of where we are.
Yep.
We're learning every time I come up with this new, I found on Pinterest a way to make this that we've always bought in the store. It alleviates a little bit in our grocery budget. So.
Yep. All right. Next is going to be snack foods.
Hello, Cheetos.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really checked the price of Cheetos lately. But I did stop buying those, not because of the price. I just stopped buying them
Yeah.
last year after we came back from Boston. But um, I wouldn't doubt if they've gone up in the last year.
Let's see. You go ahead. I'm looking it up.
Yeah,
Um, I'll tell you. You can go
the
ahead.
family size right there.
Actually, they look about like they're a little bit on a rollback. It's $3.98 for an 8.5.
Yeah, but we were getting the party size for
Oh, the party size.
for that amount.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So that price has gone up
yeah. No,
even more.
the party size was on a rollback when we were buying them at that price, but it was $3.98 when we were buying them.
Okay.
And they were the
Okay.
regular size like that was on like $3.48 or something like that.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
they've gone up, but now they have a rollback, so it's a little bit less than it got up to $4.48 at
Woo.
some point, and now they're back down to $3.98. So it's
Yeah.
still higher than what we used to spend on it.
Yeah.
Is what we're saying. Anyway, the point is, hey, like you said, he never did it for just the price of them. It was more of a decision just to not eat as many snack foods. But we'll say he and I, we're not eating as many snacks as we used to.
Mhm.
Instead, we're making sure that when we eat a meal, we eat enough that we don't have to snack in between.
Yep.
So really snacking is pretty minimal here anyway.
All right. So before we get to number 7, I just want to remind you again that we are talking today about things that we can no longer afford, or things we've been priced out of, and we've talked about houses, we talked about cars, we talked about food items like steaks and certain types of seafood, organic, grass-fed, cage-free foods, and snack foods. And so as we get to the last one here, um, the last thing that we've been priced out of is being in debt. And I know that may sound kind of strange to you, but I mean it's true. I mean, if we can't afford to have a lot of debt.
I kind of alluded to that earlier with the car notes.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. Like we just can't afford the idea of having a mortgage and 2 car notes and maybe some credit card debt and stuff like that. Like when we look at our expenses, we would be tapped out and we wouldn't be able to go anywhere and do anything because we would be only like stressing out and worried about money all the time.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I don't think we could be in debt anymore.
Nah. Not that we would want to.
No, we don't
but
want
we
to.
probably couldn't kind of priced out of that anyway.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our list for today. If you're watching on YouTube, just comment below and let us know what items you can no longer afford, items that you've been priced out of, and also share with us what you're doing to tweak those former purchases. Things how you're getting by with. If you still want those things, how do you go about acquiring them without going into debt and without being priced out of? So drop us those comments below. We'd love to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's going to do it today for the Our Frugal Debt Free Journey podcast. We're Joel and Christy for the long run, Joel and Christy. And don't forget, it's a long run. Give yourself a little grace.
Bye.